this week we are back on the big site for a bit of a catch-up. Now, just before Christmas, we brought you that very quick sort of look from over on the other site where you could see the windows have gone in, the doors were going in. Windows now have started being fitted, so we've got all the top windows in all the way along. So before Christmas, Corey and the guys finished all the block work on the poo room, on that end and on this end. There was a bit of extra block work chucked in on that end as well, so that's all done and dusted now. So in here we have got, and I showed you a little bit of that before, which is the room that we're having all the electric brought into. So we're pretty much ready for JDC are doing this project again. So JDC are going to come down in, I don't know, a week or two and start plumbing the electrics all around the place. So that's their unit there. Windows we'll go upstairs in a minute and have a look at a bit closer, and doors. Obviously you've already seen the personnel doors go in on all elevations of the building. The sectional doors, so these are a little bit different than what you would have seen in the past, because in the past we've only ever showed you roller shutter doors. These work on a very similar principle, but instead of running up onto a coil at the top and coiling up and coiling up and coiling up and getting a bigger coil, these go up and over. So these are up and over sectional door, and the reason they go up and over is they're in then segments there. And each one of these segments is insulated. So on the inside here, we've got a white liner tray. So think of it like a composite panel that we've described on the outer shell of the building as the cladding. It's very similar in terms of it's a composite door. So we've got the white liner on the inside. On the outside, we've got the face color, which in this case is blue. And each one of these is hinged together. And what happens is as that door goes up, which you can see on the next one along, it concertinas up and bends and basically goes up and in a straight line up the top. So we have to run runners up the rafter line to take that up, because it won't coil, because you'd never coil them round. You'd end up with a massive hexagon. So that's why it goes up and over. So there the doors. Other bits that we've got gone on inside the building is, well, we'll do windows first. Okay, so windows wise, they're all fitted and in now. There's still just the silicon in to do on the outside. So windows, again, they've got obviously the cover on at the minute, but ultimately they are an aluminium frame. They've got the solar reflective glass in. So again, that helps when we've done the SPEM calculation, that this all forms part of that scoring system of how the building performs as an envelope. So we've got the solar reflective glass, everything is fitted, everything's just got to be come back now, finish and seal everything up. So on here, we'll almost have like a flashing as a windowsill, and that will go all the way round. They've got the weep vents in, so again, there'll be a element of airflow in and out. So we'll have to tape all them up when we come to do the air pressure test, because that will affect the results of the test. So they're all in and fitted, we're just waiting for them to come back and then we can flash them up. What we've done up here on the mezzanine as well is we've put that flashing now around the bottom, because the floor has been washed off, as has the floor downstairs, and that has all been flashed up nicely now. So as you look round, you'll see a nice, neat, tidy finish where you're not looking at any of the ends of the concrete or where the bits of spatter have come up on the cladding. So the guys have obviously then pressure washed everything out. They've washed all the floor out and got rid of all the muck, because most of the machine work now inside here for us is done. We've had Justin and the guys in, and they've started installing all the aircon. So all of the systems are fitted up high level. Now what will happen is they'll come and put all of that metal ducting in place. So you can see them up there, and we're going to have a look at the poo rooms. So then the random poo room that's in the middle of the building, if you like, is here. So ceiling is in, plastered up, so that's ready now for James and the guys to come back and put the light in, the switch and all the electric work. Doors, we didn't want to put the doors and frames in just yet, because obviously pressure washing the floor out with all that moisture. So they'll be in hopefully by the end of the week, so you should see that as well. This is just the standard toilet, so obviously standard toilet, standard hand basin. We've got the water heater unit and the expansion vessel on the wall up there, so Wayne has been in and done all of that work for us. The other thing is we've done the floor as well. When we put the floor in and concreted it and power floated, what we did is the customer had given us a list of what machinery and what locations they were going. So in order to make sure there's no cable surface mounted to the floor or coming down from the ceiling, what we've done is we've installed some ducts from the side of the building. So all the mains electric can then come down the side of the building, go into the duct, it comes through under the floor and pops up. So what we have to do when before we pressure wash out is we've measured or marked that point in where that duct comes up, and we've taped the top of the duct. The guys come and pour the floor, power flow over the top, so you can't actually see where it is, and then we have to just break the surface out. So that's basically what that is there. We break it out with some concrete, so then we can obviously, or James and the guys can come and core whatever socket size they want to sit within the floor and break that out and insert their socket. But we then stuff it back full of just something and tape it up just while we're pressure washing out so they don't get filled with water. And then we've got the other two poo rooms over here. So we've got the standard poo room and then we've got the disabled poo room. What we've done is we've opted, because the disabled poo room is a bigger in size, we've opted to put the water heater and again the expansion vessel up on the wall within that one. That is also taking a waste pipe, hot and cold water to on top of the mezzanine because they might want to sink up there basically at a later date. So that one there is what we call a standard Doc M pack. So we would buy, so whereas we buy the toilet, the sink and all the bits and bobs for them, this comes as a complete set that is approved for disabled use. So it's got the handrails above the sink, it's got the handrail obviously by the side of the toilet sits itself higher as well, so it's easier for anybody disabled to get on and off. So inside the building, that's pretty much everything of where we're up to. Any bits of water on the floor are not roof leaks, they are because we have either washed the floor out or Wayne is flushing his system through, so obviously that's what the bits of water are. Outside, loads going on, so we got Corey and the guys back, so they're coming and now building all of the manholes up. So on top of the biscuits, on top of them chambers that we've got as the water pipes come through into, on top of that you then build up with brickwork to set your manhole lid that from the top of the tarmac is what you see the lid of. That's built up on some blue engineering bricks basically, so we've got a bed of them round now. That is what we use to set the final height, and then them grid tops can be set. Now we were all systems go ready for ANMAC and the guys coming in to tarmac this, which they were coming not next week but the week after. I've had to put them back for the minute because again we've come back to an immense amount of water that has come down over Christmas and New Year, and the site is again just turned into a bloody quagmire. So we've tried to combat that a little bit. The pond that's at the back of the site, what we've done is we've dug a trig through to take any excess water from that pond down and across the site and put it into the ditch, which is where we ultimately want it to go, rather than coming through the site to get into the lower level ditch over there. So now we've probably got rid of 70% of the water that was working its way down onto the site. We've also dug another trig over there to get rid of surface water, and we're having one last final scoop up of all the slop. So then once we've got all the slop gone, we will then move on to, which some of the guys are doing now, they're starting to clear all the stuff of all that racking that we bought from Abram for Trent. They're starting to clear that all out now so we can clear the area. So one, we can see and start working with the levels of Trent 2's building, as well as making sure we've got an access up and around the top here for where the new road's going to go, because as soon as we start Trent 2, like I said before, we've cut the access off to this building, so we've got to get that end piece in. So we're treating it as phase one is the tarmac between the two or the building and the ACO at least anyway. Phase two is then the connection between the two entrances of where the road is going to be, and then phase three for ANMAC will be right the way down to the Western Way main road and the connection into that. So again, it's still a little bit wet. We've still got the poo pipe to take all the way through there, which is really deep, and we've still got to bring the BT in as well. So then that's it for up here. We have got one more thing to show you on the big site, which is the attenuation pond, but we need to go down the road, so I'll meet you over there. So the last bit that we've got to show you on the big site is the attenuation pond. So everything from the row of oak trees this way is ultimately going to be captured and brought through the drainage system into this attenuation pond. And again, the purpose of an attenuation pond is that we're given a figure in which we can release water into the natural water course at. So if they give us a rate of 3 litres per second or 1 litre per second, that's what we have to do all of our drainage design based on. So this attenuation pond at the moment is based on capturing the water from the oak trees or the row of oak trees this way of what we're going to develop. So there's some assumptions made because at the moment we haven't got the site laid out and know exactly what we're going to build, but that's what this attenuation is built for. So the purpose of it is that all that water drains through, the water in the pond rises and then releases at a slower rate onto the natural ditch. So Ditty the digger driver come before Christmas, and we dug that off. So we've got a clay base in that. We've got clay just running up either side of the banks. It's that wet down here. We've not been able to get it finished, which I don't think we'll be able to fully finish until it really does dry up later on in the year. But it is working, because as the water was released from the pond behind the customer's building that we've just got up there, that's come down and ultimately worked its way through all the ditches. And because the base of this attenuation pond is pretty much at water level at the moment, we just get little bits coming on and then it seeps back off. So in this end where the gap is, we've got the head wall to put in. We've got a head wall to put in the far corner that then releases at the correct rate through into the ditch. And that water ultimately goes straight down the existing ditch under the main road and then away. So that's into a point for the moment. The only thing I've really sat here considering is in the summer months, the base of that will be dry. So in other words, it will be grass along the bottom or like a reedy bed that as the winter comes and the water level starts rising because it's wetter, it will hold water a little bit as it is doing now. Now, some of the plans that I've got for this area of land here would be quite nice if that was a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and held water. So the only thing I don't know what to do now is whether to go back to the drainage consultant and say, look, can we reduce the level of that by 6 or 8 inches or maybe a foot so that there is always a low level bed of water in there, which one would be better for ecology purposes. Two, I think it's quite nice because the shape of it and how it fits in the corner of the site looks quite nice as well. But it just depends whether the drainage consultant is happy with that and whether that works as well with the ecology side of things, which I think it should be better for ecology if it's always got a little bit of water in it. Not that we're having fish in there, but all your other creepy crawlies and everything that have always got something to go to. So that is it on the big site for this week. If you like what you've seen, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and I'm going to leave you with a massive for the rest of the week montage. Boom.